Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Forum Podcast. I just looked over to you then because I couldn't remember what number it was.
No, I don't even know what day it is, let alone what number we're on.
I am the host, Serum Lake, and today I am joined by the lovely Bearskopff.
Hello, nice to hear you and see you all again.
Okay, we've got a slightly different format for the show this week because if you listened to last week's episode, you'll know that I said I was working on getting an interview with Sony Santa Monica's Seth Killian, who worked on PlayStation AllStars. In fact, he was the lead designer, I believe.
He was indeed.
Yes, and wouldn't you believe it? I actually done it.
Boom, tang, dee.
Yeah. So we're going to have the interview in the show in a little while. But first of all, we're just going to quickly talk about what we've been playing. Bear, as I am a polite host,
You are.
you can go second. No, you go first. Go ahead.
I have been playing Netflix because
Wow.
I've been working really hard the past few weeks trying to sort out bits and pieces for the forum. So I've been getting home really tired. So it's just a case of slapping The Office on, laughing myself to sleep, then waking up and then coming into work. Though I will be playing Lego Lord of the Rings fairly soon.
Lovely.
Because that's on the side, and because I'm a cheeky scamp, I've managed to get hold of Persona 4, and this is my first foray into the Persona world.
That's on the Vita, isn't it?
It is indeed on the Vita.
Oh.
So I will be playing that at some point once the workload's kind of died down a bit.
Yeah.
But it's incoming, and the box for the game looks really good. So I'm kind of hoping the game's going to be like in the same kind of air, but I'm not too sure yet. I've never played a Persona game, so.
Well, I think there are a lot of people that have never played a Persona game.
Yeah.
Let's just be clear here. This is kind of a Japanese RPG.
Yeah.
It's quite niche, but the fan base that love it,
Yeah. So
absolutely love it.
I've been told you have to go to like school in it and do regular work, which wasn't exactly a huge selling point for me because I was kind of glad to get out of school. But I don't know. They're going on about this real rich universe, like mega addictive gameplay, awesome story, and you know I have seen some like the monster designs and you know the art direction. And it's mighty impressive. Though I'm pretty sure it's been out before. I'm guessing this isn't new for the Vita, but it's re-envisioned.
Yes, from what I gather, and I'm not an expert, so I apologise if I'm mistaken here, but it's got reworked content and new content.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like an upgraded version.
Well, I might not be able to appreciate that, obviously. But as a whole, I should be able to appreciate it because I love a new game. But the first one's going to be Lego Lord of the Rings, and if I can get my hands on it, Far Cry 3, because the internet has been ripe with Far Cry love. And, we'll be showing some Far Cry love in the not-so-distant future.
What a tease you
are. I know, darling. Yeah, we've been busy in a way. The both of us, actually, haven't we?
Yes.
Hence
the massive bags under my eyes, although not that the people will be able to see it yet.
Yes. If you could hear the bags under his eyes, it'd kind of be just like... But yeah, there's a lot of content coming this month, and
what with it being Christmas soon.
In fact, there's new content every day, but we'll talk about that later. As far as games go, yeah, Lego Lord of the Rings and Persona, and hopefully Far Cry. But what I've played this week is Netflix.
Beautiful.
And yourself?
Well, I too have been incredibly busy. Busier than usual, in fact. I've actually got copies of Far Cry and Hitman sitting at home.
What?
But I haven't even opened. I haven't even removed the cellophane packaging yet. I just haven't had the time to play them.
Really?
Yeah, not even to look at the instruction manual, if they even come with instruction manuals anymore. I haven't even opened it to check that if it's got a manual or not.
Well, see, I reckon, you know, when you get that new game and you tear it open, you get that new game smell. That's like geek crack, and that'll keep you up for hours alone. So maybe, you know, crack it open tonight, and you'll be playing for a few hours. You might actually just, you know, wake up an hour later after sleeping because you've got to come into the office. But it's worth it.
I'll consider it.
Yeah, new game smell.
But what have I actually played? I've managed to find the time to play the final episode of The Walking Dead, episode 5.
Yes.
And there's not a lot I can say about it without spoiling, but needless to say, when they say in every episode of the game so far, they say, you know, such and such a character will remember what you have done. The decisions you make will have an impact. They were not lying.
Really?
You literally get called up on every bad decision you make throughout the whole game by the end.
Oh, sweet. Yay.
And even if you're playing as Goodley...
Goodley, yeah, that
Good
works.
Space Lee, not Goodley.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Goodley.
Okay. No, his name is Lee.
Okay.
You play as a good version of him. There we go.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, make as many good decisions as you can. There are some situations where you've got to choose terrible decision or worse decision.
Yeah.
So, I really want to talk about some specific decisions you have to make in this episode.
If you start talking spoilers, you will be The Walking Dead, good sir.
I'll be the stopped Walking Dead.
But no, it's like not last week's, the week before, I was going on about The Walking Dead because I've not touched it. Because I'm waiting for the full release. It's like Breaking Bad. Again, you can tell I've been watching Netflix. I can't wait for regular TV scheduling. So
I'm the same.
Yeah, it's I can't go a week between content. No way, Jose. So I'm waiting for the full release. So I can just blast through it in an evening. Yeah.
Along similar lines, actually, I've been watching The Walking Dead on TV and season 3. So you have to wait a week for each episode.
Nightmare.
And I'm just going for... why don't they just release it in one go? What is wrong with the world?
I still need to watch season 2 because I waited for that to finish first before I watched the whole lot. But I've just not got round to it. But season 1 was really awesome, actually. I might re-watch it actually just before the full Walking Dead game comes out because I know they're not exactly the same, are they? It's
the games are based on the comics.
Yeah.
Or they exist in the comic universe, whereas the TV series is kind of an adaptation of it.
Yeah, well, I've got the compendium of the first couple of volumes. It's a great graphic novel actually, but I still haven't finished reading that, which is probably good because I was doing it in conjunction with the TV series.
Yeah,
so I didn't.
You'd see where they branch off.
Yeah.
For instance, in the comics, Shane gets killed off really quickly.
Yeah,
but he's still in the second season.
Sorry for spoilers if you've not.
He gets killed in the first issue.
You never know. They might take one issue with that. But yeah, I like The Walking Dead, and I've heard plenty of good things about The Walking Dead. So I'm very jealous that you've played it, but all in good time.
It was agonising waiting for each episode actually, because as soon as you finish, you're very wise to wait because as each episode was released on a rough monthly schedule, you had to wait so long between episodes.
Yeah, there's no way I could wait a month. I'm waiting for the last, is it half season of Breaking Bad before it finally finishes. I finished the first half like 3 weeks ago because I did that in like a weekend sitting, and now it's just like I've got to wait until next summer. Yeah. What am I meant to do in that in the meantime? Well, I'm rewatching Breaking Bad naturally, so I've got enough time there to watch it like 4 times over. So big fan of Breaking Bad actually. That'd make a great game. This is suddenly turning into a TV series podcast, isn't it? Yeah, I can't help myself. I've been just watching so much TV. But a Breaking Bad game, in the air of cooking mama. So Hammer X to stir the meth. Yay! Don't I let it overbake? That'd be amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Moving swiftly on. We're going to hand over to my past self now for an interview with Sony Santa Monica's Seth Killian to talk about PlayStation AllStars Battle Royale. Over to you. Me? You. Over to you. Roll the interview. Now, you may have noticed something a little different if you're watching on YouTube. We're in video form today. Yay! I'm Serum Lake, and the gentleman on screen to my right is none other than Sony Santa Monica's Seth Killian.
Hello.
Now, Seth, perhaps you should explain to some of our listeners, or viewers in this case, who you are and why we've got you on here.
You didn't actually tell me why you have me on here. It makes me a bit nervous. But yeah, I'm just a guy who likes fighting games. I like a lot of games actually, but my history is definitely in the fighting game side. So I was a competitive player for many years, and I won some U.S. national tournaments. I played for the first U.S. national Street Fighter team way back when, and went on to when it was harder to keep winning, I got more into tournament organizing, which I think is a healthy transition, and helped start an Evo championship series. Well, now I think they call it championship series. I don't know what we call it. I think it was just called Evo back then. No one really knew what they were doing. And from there, I managed to wind up at Capcom working on Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom, which were some of the games I love very best, as well as some other fighters like Street Fighter HD Remix and Tatsunoko vs. Capcom's oddball little games in there, but we're not concerned with that. So,
Well, it's nice to get a little background.
Sony Santa Monica. We just finished the first round on AllStars. We're going back to the balancing gates quickly and try and correct a few things that didn't happen by ship, and also working on some other projects that unfortunately are not announced yet, but you and me, but we know they're awesome.
So wonderful. Okay then, well the reason we brought you on is obviously you just released PlayStation AllStars, and it's quite a big game for us at the moment. And so I thought it'd be a great opportunity, after we met at the PlayStation Access London launch party, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to bring you in and answer a couple of community questions, and perhaps just take part in our humble podcast.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, no, it was a great event. I had a great time, so thanks to everybody on that end for putting together a great time.
Right, okay then, so let's get to the first question we've got here now. The first question we have is from Royston99, and he asks, how difficult was it to acquire licensing for the various characters, some we haven't seen on the PlayStation brand in a while, Parappa, or characters that are multi-platform, such as Big Daddy?
Yeah, so a lot of that happened early in the process, but it's been ongoing, dealing with the IP holders, but it just varied across the board. So some were a little bit stickier or had some unexpected bumps in the road where we had to make sure everybody's expectations and understanding were on the same page. And other developers or other third-party partners were just like, yeah, whatever, we're sure it'll be great and no worries, and had a much more sort of carefree, swinging attitude towards it. But at the same time, even in the easiest case, it's still quite difficult. Just a lot of work, a lot of coordination back and forth, a lot of details. So I'm not sure I would wish IP management and doing this kind of stuff on an enemy. It's a massive amount of work. So I love the fan game too of like, oh, we should add this guy to the character or add this guy to the roster, and I love it too. But man, it is tricky getting even companies that work within Sony sometimes to make sure everybody's on the same page can be tough, and much less outside companies gets even harder. So it is a ton of work. It is not sexy work that anybody is, anybody on the boards are like, bravo, nice IP management there. You really sent all those assets and got them approved. But it's a ton of work, and it's super important, and games would absolutely be made without it. So cheers to those producers who, not all of them made it, but we appreciate the ones that did. Sounds like a war, but that's kind of what it is.
So it's safe to say that you had quite a lot of involvement from the IP holders. Did any of them come to you and, I don't know, for instance, with the Big Daddy go, oh no, he wouldn't move like that. He wouldn't use that charge attack or whatever?
Yeah, no, I think we had different kinds of impact or different kinds of back and forth like that with almost everybody. And, there's sort of two ways to look at it. You can look at it as sort of oh man, IP holders coming back and like giving us a hard time. But to me, I respect what they're doing. They're people that take their characters and their franchises very seriously, and I respect that. And obviously, we want to make sure they're happy and do the best job we can for the character, for the IP holder, but also for the fans. Like that's what it comes down to. You want the character to move right, to look right. So we went back and forth over, that outline around Sly and the ears on Ratchet and the ears on Toro were a very sticking point. They have to be at a very specific angle. It's not just ears in the right shape of ears, but they stand at a specific angle from which they don't vary. I remember, it was fun also learning these things about a character to the smallest detail. But I also remember we redid some of Toro's VO, and if you played through the game as Toro, you'll know his VO is just going, yeah. Like he just makes like a little meow sound no matter what kind of text comes up. That's pretty much all he says. And they were like, no, this meow is all wrong. You get it?
It's the wrong tone of meow.
Meow! And you're like, aha, got it. So again, it gets a little mental, but hopefully it's all for the good. And you end up learning a lot about the characters and hopefully make some fans happy.
Yeah, I mean, some of the feedback we've seen in our community is that they're really impressed with the way that the licensed characters feel like they've been ripped straight out of their game and put into this fighting game. And there's no friction between the characters. It's all just really smooth. So.
Yeah, it was, that was sort of a decision that Superbot made early on to try and have a slightly more common style and some edge case kind of changes to the characters, but to make sure that they felt like themselves. So of course characters like Sackboy are not as big as Sackboy would be in our game, but with some sort of little tweaks like that to make it basically, it wouldn't be fun to fight Sackboy if he was
I suppose
two apples high or something like that. That would be rather irritating, probably for him too, to be like, I can't knock any of these guys over. But outside of that, I think it was the right call.
Okay, so the next question. That one's kind of already been answered, okay. Okay, so we've already had 2 downloadable characters announced.
Cat and Emmett.
That's it, Cat and Emmett. I was trying to remember Emmett's name.
It's almost as though you don't live and breathe this every single day like I do.
I've been found out. I've been rumbled. Quick. Right, okay. So the actual question is, will there be any more third-party characters added to the game? Because he says sometimes using the same characters over and over again gets bland. Nice. Of
course, yeah. That's the hopefully you get better at the character as well. But totally understood. And one of the things I like about AllStars is that because of the sort of common move sets, obviously the moves function very differently across the characters, but the inputs are the same and relatively simple. So you can pick up. I find myself able to pick up new characters much faster than even in other fighting games that I've worked on. I'm like, nah, that guy's too tricky. I'm never going to be able to get him. But like AllStars characters, I can get pretty quickly. So as to the question about whether we hope to, the answer is we certainly hope to add more third-party characters and are in talks to do so as DLC. So not guaranteed. We'll see where those talks go, but there's absolutely some of the characters we're excited about. Beyond first party are third-party characters as well. So hopefully we'll strike a good balance and check some of the boxes that people have been hoping for from the beginning, because and again, I've worked on every fighting game as a roster, and with working on games like Marvel vs. Capcom, that's another Marvel and being another IP here in America that has literally thousands of characters. Yeah. So no matter which ones you choose, someone's going to be like, my guys, you screwed me. And PlayStation is a bit the same way, where there's just so many great characters. It's tough to get them all. And of course, we don't own all of them. So the third parties that own their characters have something to say about it as well. But yeah, it's so you try and hit the highlights and make sure you get as many characters that add something unique to the game and are going to be something special to play, and not this game isn't it.
Yeah, cool. I think that answers that question. Alright, so next. Okay, These questions, they're asking about specific characters, which you can't really comment on at the moment.
Yeah, I'll be like, maybe. Yeah. That would be telling. I'll be legally caught out if I tell. Well, and I apologize I yawned here a bit. I'm just waking up. So
yeah, I understand. It's the
and it was a late night,
of the
so
world.
I apologize. I'm not bored with the questions. I'm just rubbing the sleep out of my eyes.
Yeah, literally all of the questions I've had are: will this character be in it? Will that character be in it? Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys.
It's an understandable question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have to wait and see. Unless we leak something. Maybe I'll leak something today by mistake.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll keep
All
an ear
video
out.
games leak something eventually, and maybe we'll drop the ball. So, no, hold your breath for that.
Okay, well, I've got a question then. Do you foresee in the future AllStars being played in these fighting tournaments, like EVE? Would you like to see that?
Yeah, so in the short term, there have been some local LA tournaments that I've been watching play it, and I say local LA tournaments, but events. I'm talking about Wednesday night fights, and that's actually one of the most popular fighting game streams. It's so popular, it's 2 nights, and it attracts tens of thousands of viewers all the time. There's very, very strong players here in LA. So I was talking to the organizer, who's an old friend of mine, Alex Valle, and he said the brackets were all full. A lot of new players. Some players they've had at Wednesday night fights for years. Some players they've never seen before, which is one of my personal hopes for the game, that would attract part of a new audience as well as enticing a couple traditional sort of fighting game vets. But I think the game is certainly capable of being there and will hold up to that kind of pressure, because the only games that really end up there are games that you can play incredibly hard. So AllStars, I think, regardless of any tournament stuff, is a fun game to play, and you're going to have a good time with it for a long time. And I think, I'm very confident people will be playing this in a year, 2 years, 3 years, much longer than most games. That said, tournament is like a whole other level. I do think this game probably has what it takes to stand up to a tournament, but the truth is, even as a developer, you never really know the answer to that question until the game is out in the wild, and people are playing it, and they push to try and break the game. So far, so good. We do have a balance patch coming up very shortly. Some stuff we hope to get into launch, and we'll have some details. I don't know, there might even be details about that later today or something. I don't know. We're trying to get something up very quickly. But there will be ongoing balance patches and small adjustments here and there. And as well, people can change configurable options. So if you're like, well, the game's great, except for this map is really, ratchet, never win on this map or something like that. Okay, fine. You can select. We won't play on that map. The players will have some more customization options in the game to try and set things up for tournament. But right now, it's looking pretty good. And we definitely had a lot of interest from tournament organizers. A lot of people coming to us, talking to us about tournaments, how that should go. I think ideally the game is at its it's probably at its most zany fun in free-for-all, but I think it's at its strategic peak in 2v2. So I prefer sort of kill limit personally, just because stop limit can get a little bit, it can sometimes drag with people want to run away and just sort of wait until you get bored. Kill limit, I think, tends to favor aggression. And we're considering options to try and spice up stock and kill limit even further, at least as potential options. That said, 2v2, absolutely, it's sort of capable of standing up to those levels. And I think, again, people, when they look at it, they're like, this game looks fun, but silly. So it's not going to be that kind of game. And I think they'll be surprised. And maybe I'll be surprised, and they'll be like, nope, that game's really busted. Like, it shouldn't be at a tournament. We really messed up. People will still have fun with the fun side of it, but a tournament player would be able to do this exploit every time or something. And hopefully we patch that if it happens. It hasn't happened yet. I think it will never happen. So I actually think it will end up at seeing a presence at some pretty major tournaments, and we'll see. But yeah, the truth is, even as the people you made the game, you never really know. You just got to put it out there and hope for the best, and hope that your game finds an audience and really stands up competitively.
Yeah, we were having a discussion about this on our last podcast, actually, and my colleague, Yasta, said that he feels that AllStars is at its best when it's 1v1, because it reminds him of kind of a 2D Soul Calibur in a way.
Yeah. No, I like 1v1 a lot as well. To me, the reason I tend to prefer 2v2 is because I think you explore aspects of the character that you wouldn't necessarily. I think 1v1, there's a set of characters who are very interesting and others that are harder, that are more designed for sort of crowd control. So again, on the design side, it's really, really hard to design a character that's effective in 1v1, 2v2, and free-for-all, because they're very different sort of objectives with your to make characters that are both different from each other and interesting and equally effective across all 4 match types. So 1v1, I think there's a great game there, but I think it's a great game for a smaller number of total characters. So, but I suppose, and I'm thinking about games like Smash Brothers here, of course. That's also true in Smash Brothers. There's characters that are fun to play in some match types but in 1v1, it's actually a fairly small set of characters that anybody's able to play. And so it's just one of those tough design challenges. And this being the first sort of, brawler-style fighting game that I worked on, it's a lot of learning experiences for me, and that was definitely one of them. It's much hard, as hard as it is to make any fighting game and balance it at all, like balancing it across 4 match types with totally different objectives, it's even harder. So, but I think 1v1 is awesome. I like playing 1v1 myself.
Cool. And there's a question I'm surprised nobody's asked yet, or at least none of our community have asked, but which characters do you like playing as the most?
Well, I play a lot of Nathan Drake, but I feel like online, for some reason, my Parappa has come back in force. Like, my Nathan Drake is winning, I probably win like 70-80%, which is, good, but obviously I have a head start on everybody else and some certain advantages. So, but my Parappa, for some reason, has been not only performing really well, but also on the times where I lose, I totally understand where I lost. Like, I'm just like, I took a couple of cheap level 1s. I should have built up for a level 2, whatever it might have been. I understand immediately why I lost. Whereas with Drake, sometimes I'll lose and it's hard for me to retrace my steps, or it's harder for me to go back and be like, maybe I should have thrown more level 1s. And it's, I find my success sometimes a little dependent on getting more than 1 kill with a level 1, which of course getting more kills with a level 1 is great, but with Drake it can be harder to set up because there's sort of he throws a propane barrel and shoots it, which is a lot less immediate action, kind of super than most for anybody that hasn't played the game. We talk. So it's an unusual kind of super. So I find it. I think he's actually probably I think Nathan Drake is probably a stronger character than Parappa, but I really like the sense of this is what I didn't do if I'd only done this, or this guy skunked me and I have a very clear, Parappa to me is fitting very clearly into my mind. So, and again, for me, that's, having played fighting games for so long and across a wide variety of games, one of the things I've learned to do is not to decide too early who my character is going to be. I let the game I try and be aware of the game sort of telling me, like, you think you like this guy, but you shouldn't play him because he's like, you're just that good player who's like doing great with him. You're not doing what he's doing. Like, you're doing it wrong, or some sort of, whatever it might be. So I try and be open to what the game is telling me as far as like, you should really play this guy. And Parappa, I'm just having a ton of fun. So.
Okay, so at the same time, which characters do you avoid playing as?
Well, there's a lot of hate on Sackboy right now.
No!
I know, who could hate the Sack? But people think his level 3 is really cheap. So I actually enjoy Sackboy. I think he's a really interesting long-range character. But possibly until we do another round of balance patching, I'll probably stay away from him. Also, just as someone who worked on the game, I think Kratos and Raiden and characters like that are a ton of fun, but they're also very popular online.
So, I've noticed.
Parappa is not unpopular, and Nathan Drake is not unpopular, but I try and play sort of lesser-known characters. So I've been playing Sir Daniel, you see less of. That Princess you see less of, although I think she's actually quite good. She's a little unusual, but yeah. and I like Radic as well. He's not also unheard of online, but not the top popular character, because he was very popular in the beta, because I think if anybody had a chance to play the beta, but the maps we had there were very friendly towards characters who did had a very strong horizontal control. So when you get a wider variety of maps, he's less effective at just standing back and sniping, but I still love him. So I still play Radic as well.
Yeah, we have a lot of debate in the office about who the cheap characters are. The ones to get easy wins. Kratos often comes up, as does Radic.
Yeah, Radic I think annoys people because they don't, nobody likes keep away characters in fighting games, and no one likes grappler characters. So Big Daddy's, I guess, sort of close to a grappler, but he doesn't really feel quite like that. Although nobody likes the boom boom where he jumps down and pounds
I like
the ground.
that because I use it all the time.
Yeah, no, I think it's a ton of fun, and everyone's like, or the suck cannon I think has great range as a throw, but other than that, there's no sort of specifically grappler kind of characters. But yeah, people don't like grapplers and they don't like keep away. They feel those are both cheap. So as long as you play a dude that just fights in the middle, nobody thinks that guy is cheap except maybe Kratos. Like the chain pull is strong stuff.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's more. Ask the community for questions. They go, "Oh, is Lara Croft coming? Is Crash Bandicoot coming?"
I totally understand it. So no worries.
Yeah. Okay. How long have we been going now? About 20 minutes. Okay, I'll ask you one more question. Do you actually play AllStars a lot in your free time, or do you play other games?
So the short answer is I play other games, but honestly, I do play AllStars a lot in my free time. There are times where we'll manage to squeeze in some matches at the end of work or something like that, which I wish happened all the time. And obviously it does during balance. You get a chance to play, but it doesn't happen as much as I wish. But even sometimes where we do get a couple hours or an hour in at work, I will come straight home and play more. And part of the reason I'm so bleary-eyed is I've had 2 nights this week where I'm up till 3 a.m. being like, why aren't more people up at 3 a.m? Like, this match, it's taken me at least 5 seconds longer to connect at 3 a.m. Or I just played this guy last round because, yes, it's, 3 a.m. California time is, 6 a.m. in New York. And, it's quite very, very late. I have that very much that one more game kind of feeling of like, that was awesome. I totally crushed those guys, so I gotta play again. Or if I lost, I'm like, can't believe I lost. Like, I gotta play again. Yeah, both. It's sort of like a flow chart where all roads lead to you should play again. Yeah, so I find myself staying up really, really late and playing a lot. So the level of my characters is, across the board, it's, I think, going to be 999 quite soon with a lot of characters. So
that is a lot. You see, I thought I'd been playing a lot when I'd got some of them up to 150, 200, but 999.
Well, we'll see. And it's, I have a moderately addictive personality, so I try and limit which kind of games like this I let myself play. And I'm, like when I feel like I'm really having an AllStars overload because I'm like, want to play again? I'll be like, no, you gotta go play your Call of Duty. Be a good boy. It's like eating your vegetables. Play Call of Duty. Just play an hour or two. Just play some domination matches, and then you can go back and play AllStars.
So again, balanced gaming diet.
Call of Duty, I don't take it as personally. Like, it's a game I like a lot, and I have some skill there, but I don't get upset when I lose, like the same way I do in fighting games sometimes. Although I feel like AllStars I don't get as upset there as I have in the past. But I really like playing AllStars, which I guess is a good thing. But it's got a very addictive quality that I haven't.
Oh, tell me about it.
In a long time. Yeah.
So many late nights playing that. Too many to count. Incidentally, when you play Call of Duty, do you have inverted controls?
Interestingly, no. So I assume you're talking about the way I play with my hands crossed, or
No, when you invert the
the
y-axis.
Yeah. No, I'm familiar with inverted controls. Because I play fighting games on a joystick with my hands crossed over. I think everyone's
Up is up and down is down.
In my brain. But no, I don't play inverted. I think people that do are horrible animals. That should be that option should be removed, so they're forced to learn. Just like lefties at school, you should just slap their hands until they learn to write properly. People are crazy. So no, it's Cheers to our inverted axis friends, but it's absolutely not. And I remember I've had demos for early games for whatever reason that started default with inverted controls, and you couldn't change it. And I was like, this game is not approved. Like, this is terrible. Who made this inverted thing? So yeah, I'm not an inverted guy.
Well, in that case, you're all right by me.
Cheers.
Come the revolution, you will be spared. All right, I think that's about it. Just double check that I haven't left anybody out.
And all the character questions, totally get it. But can't tell. We'll see. And ironically, if I did tell you and it were about to happen, I would probably screw up the contract negotiation totally.
There we go. So stop asking.
So you're making it worse, man. By asking me at all.
Brilliant. Well, in that case, that's all the questions. Seth, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys later, and hopefully see you soon in London.
Brilliant. Anytime.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. And we are back. Wasn't that a wonderful interview? If I say so myself.
It was amazing. Even though we didn't just listen to it.
Don't ruin the magic.
I had to ruin the illusion. I'm not like David Blaine. But I will be watching it in real time. There's too much to and fro with tenses here.
Yeah.
It's like Back to the Future.
Yeah, we've completely confused ourselves with this talk of past selves and what we will be doing. That was me clutching at my head there.
We'll put like a strain sound effect in, like...
My brain bursting.
But I guess, I mean, that was awesome of Seth to agree to have a nice chat with us. I mean, we went to the PlayStation Access Swindig thingy.
We did, where they had the LaunchStar tournament. LaunchStar?
All-Star
launch tournament.
Yeah, because we met him there, didn't we, in person? He was like basically mid-interview, and then
we kind of just went out of the way.
We lunged on him, just like, excuse me there, whilst you're being
random passers-by, take pictures.
Yeah, we got loads of pictures actually. But yeah, that was mega cool of Seth. So like, big props. Thanks a lot, man, because we know how busy that guy is. And,
so to follow up from the interview, one of the points that Seth raised was that they're releasing a new patch, and we've got some details now.
Boom.
So. First of all, they're adding a new weapon called Medusa's Gaze.
That must be for God of War, I guess, or Kratos.
Yes, I presume it's a weapon that will turn the enemies into stone.
Okay, cool.
Brilliant.
Would that make them like really rock hard to defeat? Do you get it? Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Second of all, you're going to actually be able to view the invites in the party bar menu.
Oh, that's cool.
And the voice chat icon is going to be added to the loading screens. They're going to be improving AI logic, so expect the battles to get a little tougher. They won't do something.
I find them tough enough as it is.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm a rubbish, like fighting games person. But
then the next thing, some really fun and exciting updates here. Network performance improvements. Issues where players were stuck with a different character than the one picked has been addressed. Issues with matchmaking in regards to player skill has been addressed. And overall improvements to network connectivity. It doesn't sound very interesting, but that's dramatically going to improve the performance. Oh, and they're making some significant changes to Sackboy. Dun, dun, dun.
It's now Sack Girl. The end. No.
His level 1 super, they're going to increase the cost of it. So it's going to take 150 AP instead of 100 to fill that bar up. Similarly, with his level 2, it's now going to cost 400 when it used to cost 325. And his third one, which Seth mentioned as some people thinking were pretty cheap, is now going to cost 750 instead of 600.
That's cool.
So that's going to make it a little harder to use those super moves. To be honest, when he mentioned that they were going to fiddle around with the stats for some of the characters, I immediately thought they're going to cut down Kratos. Kratos is a overpowered behemoth.
He is the god of war, though, in all fairness.
Yeah, true.
Just to be pedantic. What's the... I heard something about Jam Session and Cakeinator. I mean, because I've not played an awful lot, so I don't
They're
know what those
Sackboy's
are.
moves, so
okay.
they actually give you less AP now. So the Jam Session, which is just tapping triangle, will only give you 10 AP instead of 25. And the Cakeinator, which is just pressing circle, will also... Oh, actually, it's going down from 25 to 20.
Okay, that's cool.
So basically, the changes they're making here is making Sackboy, making it a bit more challenging for him to fill up his super meters.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's really nice to see, the guys look like listening and looking at community feedback.
Yeah.
And making, adaptations so quickly, and fairly thoroughly as well. It's really good to see, because, I mean, the first time you beat up a multiplayer game, regardless of like what genre it is, there's always going to be a few hiccups, but sometimes these can take months to address. But these guys have got that done in, a fortnight?
Yeah, and the patch is going live in a couple of days, so that's
really
pretty quick work.
Yeah, absolutely. But I still need to play it. Well, I've had the odd match. It's on my Vita. I'm ready to start collecting trophies, because I've not got a new trophy in quite a long time now. But
Jeopardising your spot at the top of the staff trophy leaderboard, aren't you?
if anyone overtakes me anytime soon, that will basically mean they've not even, slept in about a month. And it's been them replaying Hannah Montana and getting numerous trophy lists, because I'm quite far ahead. Without even meaning to. This was, I've not got any trophies in months, just because I've been too busy. So I'm literally going off all my old ones. And they'll take over next gen.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. But that's quite an exhaustive list, considering. I'm impressed. Good work, guys.
Okay, now to close out the show, we're going to do a quick community update where we're going to talk about our December activities.
Yes, this is something that we've been coordinating non-stop, quite viciously, for a couple of weeks now. We wanted to make sure every day of December leading up to Christmas there's something interesting to do on the forum, or take part in online, or win. So, I mean, it's Saturday today, I think. Yeah, Saturday. And we've just pushed our community advent calendar. So every day leading up to and including Christmas, we're going to open up a new panel. And it's up to you to guess which character is sporting a very beautiful white Santa beard and red hat.
Who was it today?
Today, it was press X to Jason.
Jason!
Jason!
So it was Heavy Rain's Jason,
It was
hiding behind
indeed.
the beard and hat.
Yes, it was. And that, it took a few posts, but...
So they guessed it pretty quickly.
Yeah, fairly quickly. I can guarantee tomorrow, the Sunday unveiling, they're going to have a lot more trouble. A lot more trouble. I'm not even going to give a clue.
Okay.
But not yet. Not yet. It might get to the point later on. But, I mean, with each panel being opened on the calendar, we've got either either a forum event or activity, an online event, or a competition to announce, or, multiple amounts of different ones. And, that's taken a little while to sort out. But it's really good fun, actually. I think it was worth the effort. It always is for the community. Why not?
Always, every single time.
Yeah, we love every single one of you. But some prizes might be cold. And I'm not on about Infamous either. Yeah. So imagine if you did wake up one morning and Cole McGrath was under your Christmas tree. That'd be a bit weird. Yeah.
Help me, I'm lost. I don't think I'm supposed to be here.
There you go. That's Infamous 3. Covered. Helped you out, guys. Enjoy Sucker Punch. But, there's some big competitions, actually. But
yes.
Today's one was... Derek the Death Fin, and you can win Derek the Deathfin, and I'm not even on about the game. I'm on about the actual Derek the Deathfin shark.
Yeah, we should give some background story here. So, Derek the Deathfin is a downloadable PS3 game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You can find it on the store for a fairly cheap price. I think it's around about £5.50 or £7. It's
something like that,
yeah.
isn't it?
And like the novelty is, it's all the in-game assets were originally built out of like origami and like cardboard and bits of paper and stuff all glued together. And the main character called Derek, the Deathfin, is this shark, and we've got hold of the shark. I think it's a bigger version, but it is the one made by the developers.
Yes, if anyone went to Eurogamer Expo, they would have seen the developers running around with this massive cardboard shark.
Yep, it is the one.
Yeah, and they've given it to us to give away.
Yep, they have, and as well as some stickers and some badges. So yeah, it's a really novel prize actually, and I'm hoping to see a few entries. It's so easy as well to enter. You just got to blast through the first zone. I think it's called Americas or Americans, and it takes 20 minutes to do that. And my score isn't exactly high, so whoever gets the best one within this coming week wins the giant shark. Though how I'm going to get it sent in the post?
We're going to chuck it in the Thames, and we say, "Go swim, find them."
Yeah, man. I that's probably going to have to be the way to do it, because I think Royal Mail are just going to look at that and just weep.
We're going to have to construct our own box, aren't we?
It looks like it, yeah. But,
so we're going to have to save all the cardboard boxes that come into the office, take them apart, and then kind of meld them together to create a massive shell.
Yeah, a shark shell, if we can get a shark-shaped box. But yeah, I definitely recommend checking that out. In fact, just check back every day for the advent calendar, because there's always something to be won or take part in. We're going to have loads going on actually. And I should clarify as well. You won't know you've won until Christmas Day. I know, shocking. But we just thought it'd be a nice way of, people plonk on the forum on Christmas Day just to see if they've won, and if they have, well, a nice surprise. Because we're nice like that.
Yeah.
And we've got something on Christmas Day, but I'm not saying what that is. Other than it's something. But that's all I've really been doing, what we've been doing.
Yeah, that's actually the majority of what we've been doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The only other thing I have really to talk about is we've made a change to our Mass Effect multiplayer game night, because before we were just playing on Wednesdays, 7 o'clock. Because that tied in with the whole Mass Effect N7 day, which was the 7th of November. But one of the lovely users, I think it was Graphite GB, I think he made a suggestion that we change our playtime to the weekend so that we can work together to achieve all of the BioWare social objectives.
Because they go live on the Saturday, don't they?
I think they go Friday night.
Oh, is it Friday night? Okay.
Yeah, and then they're open until the early hours of Monday. So just made a change. If you need someone to help you out with a particular challenge, head over to community.eu.playstation.com.
Yeah.
On the RPG board, in the general discussion, there's a Mass Effect multiplayer thread. You can't really miss it because it's floated right at the top.
Boom.
And I believe it's Graphite. He is insanely good at multiplayer. He has unlocked all of the rarest items in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it competitive multiplayer as well?
It's cooperative.
Okay, and that's where the challenges are, all co-op.
Yes,
okay.
you form teams of 4, and you have to take part in using certain characters, or on certain levels, on a certain difficulty, and just basically beat whatever the objective is. Now, a lot of them are kind of communal goals, so they'll say, kill 1 million banshees between you.
Okay.
But then there are also squad goals where they'll say playing only as biotics on this level, on this difficulty, get a full team extraction, and then you will win a legendary unlock or something like that.
Well, so I think I might join in myself, because I've had Mass Effect 3 since release, and I've only played about half an hour. I've just been too busy.
In that case, get on there.
Yeah, I think
Team up with Graphite, and he'll...
the lovely Graphite.
Yeah, the lovely Graphite. Yeah, everyone's lovely today, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's the Christmassy feeling.
Yeah.
It's the 1st of December. It's already freezing, but and no snow in sight, but I'm guessing that's just because of the central London kind of
could be
haze.
The smog is keeping it out.
Yeah. Damn you, smog.
Final thing of the show, we usually have a little competition running. We're going to do something a little different this time. Rather than putting in a specific gameplay clip for you to identify, the talented Bearskopff is going to hum a piece of video game music, and we put the challenge to you to identify it.
If they can get it, I'll be impressed, because I've got no vocal or singing talent whatsoever. And, even my humming can be, confused with just snoring. But maestro, if you will. Oh, I like that. It's probably better than what I can do in regards to the thing. So. I think that'll do. I think that's enough.
Yep, that's a nice little segment. Yeah. Answers on a postcard.
Yep.
Or alternatively, they could post it on the forum.
Yeah, that would be ideal. Yeah. If I got on the forum. I'm afraid as well, I entered almost Jack Black territory with the like the a cappella kind of noise he makes in Tenacious D. But yeah, I think people might be able to get that.
Hopefully they will.
Yeah, best of luck.
I'll see if you can get it right, community people. I'll see if I can find something to post out to you.
Yeah.
Just as a reward for your exquisite ear.
Yeah, and no cheating, I guess. There might be a way of cheating.
I don't know.
Hold the speaker up to an iPhone app. I'm sure there's an app for that.
It's going to come up and say it's Tenacious D, isn't it?
You've been listening to Jack Black. But yeah, there we go.
So that's it for another episode of the Forum Podcast. The last thing I have to do is thank Bearskopff for turning up.
It was a pleasure. I'm sorry I couldn't make it last week. Mega busy, you should know.
Yep. I actually couldn't make it last week either, but I turned up anyway.
Full of flu.
Yeah, spent the rest of the day running around going, oh my God.
It's like every day, sweet. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, as ever. Good sir.
So where can they find you, Bearskopff, if they've been enchanted by your voice and they want to hear more of your thoughts and feelings?
I'm mainly loitering around in PS3GD because that's where a lot of the activity's going, and our other stuff feeds from there. But Twitter, I'm on Twitter a lot at the moment because, I like Twitter.
Yeah, it's a nice way of interacting with people, isn't it?
Yeah, nice way to say hello.
And you're Bearskopff on Twitter as well.
I'm Bearskopff everywhere, baby.
Yeah. Just to keep it simple. And if anyone's interested, I'm Serum_Lake on Twitter, but nobody's interested in me.
Everyone's interested in that. So I'll give you some retweets and some rewinds. But yeah, thank you very much.
That's another episode done. Now, what the hell are we going to do next week to top this? That is the sound of fingers tapping together in a scheming way.
Yeah, scheming, even though we've done a large portion of scheming, but we cannot comment on that.
Right.
It's been a pleasure.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you next week.
Amazing. Oh, that's amazing. Good go. I have an announcement to make. He zooms in.
This is great.
Okay.
It's great TV. Anyway.
Is that a good enough test?
I think so, yeah, it should be. Let's see how easy that is to sync up.